Not gonna lie, when I first heard the name of this movie, I thought it was like a sequel to Napoleon Dynamite or something. Keeping the dream alive. Licorice Pizza is brought to us by director Paul Thomas Anderson and stars Alana Haim, Cooper Hoffman, and Bradley Cooper. This is the story of Alana Kane and Gary Valentine growing up, running around and going through the treacherous navigation of first love in the San Fernando Valley in 1973. So Licorice Pizza is an interesting little film for a few different reasons, one of those being its director Paul Thomas Anderson. The movie feels like Paul Thomas Anderson, but it's not like any other movie he's made before. It's got that genuine period feel that Anderson's films have, such as Boogie Nights and Inherent Vice. But this is the first time that I can think of that Anderson has gone out and made just a straight up comedy. Sure, there's dramatic elements here, but for the most part, Licorice Pizza is just a feel-good comedy. And while I love a lot of Anderson's work, and he has injected comedy into much of his filmography, let's be real, not all of his movies are always feel-good, or at least always end on feel-good notes. They typically have some stronger dramatic pull to them. And I don't mean that as a negative, like this movie has no dramatic tone whatsoever. It absolutely does. It is just much more a light-hearted feel-good comedy, and that was something new to see from the director. And yes, I know he made Punch Drunk Love, but Punch Drunk Love even had a bit more of a serious dramatic tone to it than this film. You keep waiting for that harsh reality dramatic part of the film to happen, and we just don't get it, and honestly, I was okay with that. That was kind of a breath of fresh air, especially in this day and age. This is about two people falling in love over an extended period of time. The vast majority of the movie is about these two getting jealous about the other because they're not with them or they're with someone else, or making the other one jealous because they're jealous about something they've already done. So, you know, young love. If you like the comedy that was in Inherent Vice, or especially Boogie Nights, then you're really gonna like this, because it's like that, but times 10. This is really smart comedy. It's not dumb slapstick comedy. Nothing against dumb slapstick comedy. It has its place, but that place isn't here. More or less. I mean, there is a little bit of it here, honestly, but for the most part, what you get is some really smart, self-aware comedy that was just funny as hell. Like much of Anderson's work in the past, what really shines here is the character. Gary Valentine is like a young shyster con man with a heart of gold. The guy just wants to be something in the world, and he has confidence and at times arrogance to spare. But on the flip side of that, he is a smooth as hell talker and extremely likable. Valentine is played by the late Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, Cooper Hoffman. This is the first thing I've ever seen Hoffman in. It may be the first thing he's ever been in, but the guy does a fantastic job here. Much like his father, he doesn't have the traditional looks of like a superstar, and I don't mean that in a negative way. He doesn't look bad, but he doesn't look like Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise either. But he makes up for that tenfold with personality and charisma. I know he's playing a written character here, but shit, I believed it. This guy was wonderful, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Alana Haim as Alana Kane was fantastic as well, and she is also a newcomer. As far as I can find, this is her first acting role. She's been doing music up to this point, but she was just delightful and the center of some of the funniest parts of the movie. Her innocent girl next door looks, quick wit, and firecracker attitude were absolutely infectious. I don't know if that's how she is in real life, but I absolutely believed it. I would not be surprised one bit if the character of Alana Kane is pretty much just Alana Haim in real life. While our two leads were great from beginning to finish in classic Paul Thomas Anderson fashion, so was everybody else. I don't have the time to run through every single great performance in this film, but I do want to point out one more before I get out of here, and that would be Bradley Cooper as John Peters. Anytime this guy showed up on screen, you know that you are in for some funny as hell, laugh out loud moments. He was fantastic as this character. And not just a character, John Peters is a real person. He's portraying a real person here, and it was just gloriously hilarious. The guy seemed like he was just having a fantastically wonderful time, and that translates over to us, the audience, as well. I absolutely loved Bradley Cooper in this movie. But that goes for everybody. I loved everybody in this movie because everybody did a great job. Now, while the movie is about these two characters budding love, one of the things that kind of wedges between them is their age gap. Alana is 25, but Gary is 15, so there's a 10-year gap there. The age gap's not really the big issue here. here, it's more that he is a 15-year-old minor and she is a 25-year-old adult. But the movie does a really good job of handling this issue. I don't want to go into how exactly it does. A lot of it, of course, has to do with the passage of time, but it never comes across as like weird or creepy. It is addressed here or there, but the movie does a really good job of dealing with it. Now, this isn't a short movie and it is a comedy. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes, give or take. And admittedly, this isn't one of those movies that, oh, it was so good it just flew by. It felt like a short movie. No, this feels like a 2 hour and 15 minute long movie. However, that 2 hours and 15 minutes was a joy to sit through the entire time. I love a good movie that's like really fucking long, but just doesn't seem like it. You get out and you're like, holy shit, 3 hours of my life are gone like that, and it just didn't feel like it. But I also love a good movie that's really fucking long, and I feel like, hey, that was 2.5 hours of my fucking life that's gone, and it felt like it, but you know what? I had a great time during that time, and that's Licorice Pizza. Is it long? Yes. Does it feel like it? Absolutely. Is it still great? Fuck yeah, it is. Now, I know I've been just kind of like all over the place with this review, and that's probably a reflection of the movie itself, because that's kind of how this movie feels. It feels kind of all over the place, but somehow they took that really erratic and all over the place feel of this film and just really controlled it and made it work wonderfully. I mean, this is a movie that in one part we have characters that are actors or trying to be actors, and then the next moment they're running a waterbed company, and then the next moment they're running a pinball arcade machine company, and then they're working with politics. I mean, they're just all over the fucking place. But I never felt lost. This kind of structured, chaotic storytelling gave the film this great energy all the way through. And when you go back and look at the movie and say, what was Licorice Pizza about? It really wasn't about anything. It was just about these two people going through this period of time in their life and doing all these crazy things while they're getting their adult lives started. And while all that's going on, they both realize they have feelings for each other, but those times can never quite line up. Guys, Licorice Pizza was a delightful as hell movie. I absolutely loved every minute of my time with this thing. The performances here across the board are just wonderful, and the crazy erratic nature of its storytelling just somehow works and gives it this kinetic energy that lasts from beginning all the way to the end. It was a delightfully hilarious movie through and through, and it was also absolutely worth a buy.
Do it! Do it!
Show me the money!
Do it!
You motherfucker!
So,
Show me the money!
do it!
I loved my time with Licorice Pizza, and it put a smile on my face from almost beginning all the way to the end. It was a wonderfully feel-good movie that stayed with you well after the credits rolled. So if you're looking for a flick that's gonna make you feel that good, then check out Licorice Pizza one night, and I think you're gonna have a really great time with it. So there it is, guys, my review of Licorice Pizza. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you wanna help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below and become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits to go along with that, like these guys, and possibly join my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Greg C and Dragon Con. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, San Fernando Valley. Action. So I didn't bring it up in the review because it doesn't really matter, but I gotta real quick talk about the name Licorice Pizza. It means fuck all nothing to this movie, as far as I can tell at least. Yes, I know that it is the name of a chain of record stores that were in the San Fernando Valley area during the 70s and 60s. I'm not sure of the exact time period, but it was during the time period of this movie. It was originally called something like Soggy Bottoms, I think, which has a little bit more to do with at least part of the movie. Still not a great name for the thing. And maybe he just named the movie that because it is a very interesting title and gets people saying, what's that? I want to look into that. What is a Licorice Pizza? But no, it has fuck all nothing to do with the actual movie itself, as far as I can tell. Doesn't change the fact that it was a great movie, and who knows, maybe Anderson will continue this unconventional naming method for future films. I mean, maybe he'll do like a World War II movie sometime and call it, I don't know, Cinnamon Toast Pasta or something. Who wouldn't go see that? I mean, I'd go see a fucking World War II movie by Paul Thomas Anderson called Cinnamon Toast Pasta. At this point, why the fuck not?